All right, guys, we got a science fiction time loop jump movie for you that is at Fantasia Film Festival, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing another film from the Fantasia 2025 Film Festival, and this one is a science fiction movie called Rewrite. And Rewrite is a movie that is a time jump movie about a girl who meets a boy who warps into her time from the future, from 2311, and tells her he's got a secret to keep and to not tell anyone. She's just returning a book, and he is her new classmate in her class. Soon they form a relationship that he explains to her that he found a book in her era that made him inspired to come back in time and to meet this era of time, but he has to go back. 10 years later, that same book is about to be published. Miyuki, who might have written the book, and Yasuhiko, who comes from the future, have a really tangled relationship that spirals crazily out of control when it affects everyone around them. Now, this is actually a story that pays homage to Nobuhiko Obayashi's 1983 classic, The Girl Who Leaped Through Time, and it takes it and spins it into something new. Now, I've never read that book or seen that 1983 movie, but it basically tells that story and then twists it a little bit. Apparently, it's a very popular story. This is directed by Daigo Matsui, who did the movie Just Remembering, and he's been at Fantasia Film Festival many times. So I picked this movie because I was like, you know what? I like time loop movies. I really want to kind of take a risk with it. This is not a horror movie. It is a science fiction drama that is meant for entertainment and more of a mainstream crowd a little bit. I thought it was going to be like a love story, but it definitely is not. Not just, anyway. This movie has a lot of twists and a lot of turns that really change up the entire story from the original 1983 story into something completely more twisty and changing, and it kind of had me on the edge of my seat by the end of the movie. It's really well acted and really well done. Again, this isn't going to be for everybody, especially if you're a horror fan. You might not like this kind of movie, but if you are a genre fan and you like time loop jump movies, this might be something for you. It is much more on the nicer side, but don't let that fool you. This movie packs a punch when it comes to the story and how they twist it around and how it affects everything going forward. I can't say any more than that, but just trust me on this. This one is definitely a surprise to me. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good story, and I really was engaged the entire time. It gets kicked off pretty quick with him warping into her reality, and then it changes pretty drastically and unfolds more and more twists as the movie progresses. You know, Japan is always really good at doing twists. I don't know what it is, but they have a lot of movies where sometimes they do a little too many, but this is the sweet spot. You know, there is a lot of dialogue in this movie. It is not an action film. If you get the chance and you are open to movies like this, you will enjoy it. Now, there are some other things. He has invented something that can travel time for other people in this movie, and so things get a little more interesting in the beginning, sort of, so I'm not really spoiling anything, and that adds a lot to the layers and layers of this movie. A lot of different characters, all kind of stemming around one class, which is like a group of like 20-30 people there, and they all sort of are entangled in this entire story. It is definitely worth a watch. I would say, you know, it's not a movie necessarily within my normal thing that I would choose to watch. I am very glad that I did watch it, and I hope that you guys give it a chance at some point in time. It is definitely not a gore movie. It is not a horror movie, so just to be clear. But if you're like me, I like to traipse outside of the genre and see what is on offer. There's a lot of other movies that have inspired horror movies that, you know, were not horror movies, you know, so it is important to me to watch everything I can if I possibly can. And if it comes to genre filmmaking, I'm pretty open to it, especially if there's some time loop events involved, like I've mentioned, but also if the characters are good, which they are here, and they're well shot, they're well directed, it's a well-made movie, and there's not a lot of, like, you know, special effects. It does kind of have a little bit more of an intimate, impactful kind of meaning to it than, you know, just a regular genre film. So there is a bit of what it's like to just belong in your world and to accept yourself for who you are, even if you didn't do what you wanted to do with your life. So there is like an element of that included in here, and that gives this movie much more of a depth than just a regular, you know, not that genre pieces can't be, but it's more than just that. But yeah, I would give it about a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. It is definitely doing what it set out to do. Some people may love this movie if they are just into dramas or with a light touch of sci-fi. They do take you through many different characters, and I thought what they did with those characters is really interesting. Kind of kept me involved and engaged. Miyuki is kind of figuring out everything, and Yasuhiko has a lot more secrets than he might be telling. There is no specific date for this one to come out yet. All I got was a bunch of pictures and a little bit of information on who made it and what was it about. And yeah, it's one of the movies that is trying to compete with other time loop movies in the Fantasia program list. There's quite a few, actually. So I'm kind of curious to see. I think Redux is another one that's like time jumpy. So I'm kind of hoping that I get a screener for that one as well. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think about this story. Is this something that you would watch? There is no trailer for it other than on the website, which I will include a link down below. So if you want to check out the trailer, you can watch it on the main Fantasia website. And I would urge you to check it out to see what you think. Definitely surprised me. Congratulations to those who made this. Thank you, Fantasia, for allowing me to watch this. And as always, long live the void.